Well, hello there, astrology fans. My name is Lori St. Clair, and I am a master evolutionary astrologer, also a spiritual medium. Today, folks, lots going on. March 20th, 2026. It's the Aries ingress. That means the sun has moved into the sign of Aries, the Aries cardinal point. It is the beginning. Woohoo! We've got so many planets in Aries today. We've got the sun, we've got the moon, we've got Neptune, we've got Saturn, we've got Venus. Chiron is still also in Aries. So we're very Aries heavy. I know when I did my video for the new moon, which was just on the 17th, there was a lot of planets in Pisces. So now we have a really interesting, just, a few days later, we are amidst a big bonfire. And this bonfire is lit to under our butts. We're going to call it the, well, there you go, bonfire, butt fire, and hopefully not after eating a bunch of Mexican food. All right, and I love Mexican food, just going to say. But talking about spicy, definitely, we got a lot of spicy going on. So we want to embrace the spicy. We want to embrace the new. That's what Aries does. It doesn't think, it just acts. And, these last couple of years with, Saturn going through Pisces, it's now in Aries. Neptune was in frickin' Pisces forever. It's all shifting. It's all systems go. Chinese astrology, year of the fire horse, it's a big deal. Like Ron Burgundy. I'm a big deal. Now, you have to have a sense of humor. Everything that's going on in the world, easy to get overwhelmed. And that's part of the good thing about a lot of the planets moving into the sign of Aries, because Aries wants to take action and wants to get things done. Tired of waiting around, doesn't ask questions. It can be impulsive. Now, I definitely want to talk about that impulsiveness and how you want to direct that impulsivity. Kind of goes against the whole thing about being impulsive, right? Especially in dealing with relationships with other people. Now, I find it interesting because when Mercury went retrograde back on February 25th, it was conjunct Venus in Pisces. And now Mercury going direct today, and that was at 12:33 p.m. The Venus is conjunct the moon. And so there's a lot about relationships and looking back over the last 3 weeks and how, really looking at how people are treating each other, and also looking at people's beliefs. The planet Uranus, it's at 28 degrees of Taurus. It's going to be at 29 degrees soon. It's going to be shifting into Gemini in April. And, when Uranus is in Taurus, it's about really making us look at our value systems. And so, no joke, the N degrees, it's really blowing things up about any ideas that you might have held with people, just really looking at our own value systems and how kind can you be, how compassionate, and if you can't even get to that, how neutral can you be when you discover that someone doesn't have the same value set as you. And in America, You know, it's pretty much founded on that freedom. Now, but of course, the caveat of do no harm, for sure, but especially can you bring that into your own life and in dealing with others? This is why I'm talking about the impulsivity is it seems to be such high stakes because so much fear is being generated, and really a lot of atrocities are going on and have been going on. And everything that's been coming out into the light about the treatment of women and children by a certain sect of people, and just in general, those kind of horrid, horrid treatment of people that cannot defend themselves, people that don't know any better. And so it can really trigger, Aries, it's the spark. It just lights up. And so there can be that impulsivity to get angry with somebody, to get mad at somebody, and especially when we're feeling helpless and we don't know what to do. These are really some horrific things that have been in the news and have been going on. And the first thing that people will want to do is want to place blame, because that helps us move through a feeling of uncomfortability. Well, if I can just blame somebody, I don't have to really think about it anymore. I don't have to look at that. I don't have to see that thing that I don't like. And so I really feel that it's really been this lag time because we're not supposed to look away. We're not supposed to just keep going and just, we're supposed to keep going, but with a certain level of awareness in increasing our ability to hold all sorts of different viewpoints, all sorts of different experiences, and to not judge, which, hey, this is some mastery training here on planet Earth. Congratulations, all of you. Give yourself a freaking a blue ribbon for first place of having courage. And so courage as well. Aries, all about courage. And I think it's kind of funny because sometimes, the just jumping in and being impulsive can get mistaken for courage. But then again, what is it that moves us to start something new, to take the initiative, to be the pioneer, to be there on the first on the line? That takes courage, and that is wrapped up in that boldness. And so there's so much being asked of us, but nothing is being asked of us that we do not have the tools to handle. There are lots of examples of not great behavior, of bad leadership, but then again, there are a lot of people on this earth that are doing good, that have integrity, that are showing the way, that are illuminating honesty and strength of character and doing the thing that really helps others. I don't want to say the right thing, because when we say right thing, that also creates division. There's so much division right now, and there's so much distraction. And I really want to emphasize this Mercury retrograde. Mercury went direct today. 12:33 p.m. This is all Pacific time. The Aries ingress, that was at 7:46 a.m. this morning, March 20th, 26. And so there's all of these planets in Aries, but they're ruled by a Mars in Pisces. It's always so important when you're looking at astrology to look at the ruling planet of whatever you're looking at. So Mercury is in Pisces, and Mercury is ruled by the Neptune in Aries. Now, the thing is, in astrology, we call this a mutual reception because Neptune is in Aries, which is ruled by Mars, and Mars is in Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune. So they're in each other's signs. And what this does, in my interpretation, my opinion, is it creates a communication between these two planets. And really, I think it's so important to really activate a spiritual practice. If you don't have one, get one, and to investigate, try new things, begin new things that connect you to yourself. You know, I definitely believe that we are all an aspect of God, and we are trying to express it. Some do a good job, some do not such a great job, and we don't have all the answers. And sometimes these people that are doing these atrocities in the world, they might just be here to teach us, one, what not to do, for sure, and then also, how do we respond in a crisis? You know, how do we build courage? How do we build strength of character in peaceful, calm times? I'm not saying I don't like peaceful, calm times, because lay it on me, baby. It's that we are all here to learn things. And of course, we need the lessons, and they come in the shape of circumstances, situations, events, people, all sorts of things. It's all provided for us. And you have to remember, if you're here at this time, you're a badass. No joke. And, you know, and often I question, what was I thinking? Evidently, I didn't see the fine print. Or, you know, when we're in spirit and we're thinking, yeah, I'm totally up for that, you know, easy. And then we get here and we're inundated with the trappings of the material world and the physicality, and we have to remember our divinity and not get caught up in people's programming, societal, you know, how you should be, what you should do, what you should say, and go within, because we always have the answers within. And sometimes it takes a bit to get to those answers because we have so much freaking junk. You know, it's like we do a detox. We do a detox, especially, you know, people do dry January. And we did just, you know, yes, it was Valentine's Day. Hey, even St. Patrick's Day, overindulgence. And then we have to say, oh, God, you know what? I need to take some time. I need to clean out my body. I need to rest. I need to drink more water. I need to rejuvenate. And how are you doing that spiritually? How are you doing it emotionally, mentally? This is really the emphasis to me of the Mars in Pisces and the Neptune in Aries, because Neptune is very much about spirit. It's about creativity, the things we can't see. You know, when we're inspired, it's like we're pulling it from the ethers. When we hear really good music, we're transported to another realm. You know, when we see ice skaters, I always think like ice skaters, that's like the perfect blend of Mars and Pisces and Neptune and Aries, because they're out there. You know, it's a water thing. It could be water ballet if you like, but ice skating, the blades, they're cutting. Cutting is Mars. You know, it forges swords, metal. It's a metalsmith. You know, through the fire. And so there, when we see really beautiful ice skating, that to me is, it's all that practice, it's all that tenacity, it's all of that athleticism, and put into something that is so moving, and it makes it look easy, and it just takes us away to you know, it gets us out of the ordinary into the extraordinary. And so this is what's being asked of us, is to get out of the ordinary, get out of the mundane. And this brings in that south node. Now, I do evolutionary astrology, and we look at the north and south node of the moon. And in the sky right now, it's called the transits. You know, like we have the sun going into Aries, we've got Mercury going direct. We also have the south node of the moon in Virgo, and then we have the north node of the moon in Pisces. And so this is very significant as well, because the Mercury direct chart and the Aries ingress both have, because it's the same day, Mercury conjunct the north node in Pisces. And Mercury rules the south node in Virgo. So it's a little tricky. Hey, these are the times we're living in, right? But Mercury in Pisces is really about your thought process, how you communicate. And when it's in Pisces, it's really about your intuition. It's about reading between the lines. It's about the things unspoken, you know, unsaid, and tapping into these spiritual realms and these gifts that we have, these innate abilities that they might be going untapped. And so this is really the time, so much so, to look at, are my words compassionate? Are my thoughts compassionate? Am I imagining something beautiful? Am I working towards something that inspires, that uplifts? Or am I caught in these details that are just really super critical and judgy and limiting? And am I not treating others well that, you know, have positions below me? You know, Virgo is about unequal relationships, and I know that I've already talked about this a little bit in another video that I did, but that's also something to look at when we have the south node, because the south node is kind of the rut that we get into. So we look at kind of the lower end of the sign that it's in. Doesn't mean all Virgo is this, because Virgo has amazing attributes. You know, the sign of Virgo, it's, you know, where we perfect something, where we get good at something. But when the south node is in the sign of Virgo, we look at, oh my gosh, am I just in analysis paralysis because I'm getting so caught on all the little details and all the information that I'm missing the beautiful bigger picture? You know, it's like, you know, if you get too close to a painting, you can really just see one aspect, but if you back away, it's like you can take in the whole scene. You can be transported to something greater than yourself, you know, something beyond the physical limits. And so it's so important to make sure you're also not getting stuck in any kind of perfectionism pictures, you know, like I'm only going to do, I can't do this because it's not perfect. Nothing would get done, right? Oh my God. And plus, that's how we actually do things, learn things, is by doing them. And that totally backs up all of this Aries force that we've got going in the sky right now. And so, yes, we've entered Aries season. We've got the North Node in Pisces, and it's with the Mercury that's gone direct. And so, are we talking about love? Are we talking about the things that will make this a better world, like getting rid of backup beepers? Um, and so, of course, serves a purpose, doesn't it? And so, I really want to wish everybody the ability. Well, I know you have the ability, but I just want to wish, first of all, everybody a very happy spring, a happy equinox. We have the daylight and the darkness is equal today. So, this to me is about bringing in harmony. Also, the Aries ingress, the first day of spring, we look at that chart as like the next coming 3 months until the sun will move into the sign of Cancer. So we're jam packed with cardinal energy of moving forward. And so I really suggest that getting into a practice of meditation, music, anything that inspires you. So it's like setting the sail is to do your meditation, do your spiritual practice, singing bowls, that's a great thing. And just restoring and rejuvenating yourself so that when you go forward, when you're doing your action, you're really in your own power at your full energy level. And I know it can be, people have been talking so much about exhaustion, about just fatigue. And yeah, I get it because we're dealing with a lot of stuff and people are really opening up psychically. And that has really been a lot of what those Saturn and Neptune going through Pisces was about, in shifting our consciousness into more awareness. But of course, as we become more aware, we become more aware of everything. And so the trick or the benefit that we can learn is to realize, oh, that's not mine. I'm just picking up all this collective energy. It's like pollution, it's like smog, but we don't recognize it because it's not typically something that's talked about. So you have to look at, oh, how much of my energetic, you know, space is other people's pollution. And so, just when you have your own spiritual practice, your meditation, it just helps you to move through these massive times of change in a much more empowered and individual way. Because really, Aries is about doing your own thing, being the pioneer, taking the risk. And, I definitely always feel I'm a spiritual medium. I can't get away from spirit, from God, from knowing that there is something much greater than myself. And I think it's love. And however you want to frame it, I really feel like we have to look at that. Are my actions moving me towards more love or away from love? Am I moving towards God? Am I moving away from God? And of course, this also means loving ourselves and accepting that we are the manifestation of God on earth. We are the angels that help each other here. And so if we can take care of ourselves, we're so much better able to help others and to also have patience and patience and compassion, hello, that's really a good combo. And sometimes, people might say compassion and the word just doesn't sit right with you. There's all sorts of ways to be loving. It could be giving somebody a smile. It could be, sending somebody a text, sending somebody an email, sending somebody a funny meme, or meme. Sorry, I don't even know how to say it. But just however you can stay inspired, definitely get massages. If you like massages, try them. Masseuses are all different. Reflexology, that's a great thing with the Mars and Pisces. Pisces rules the feet. Go get a foot massage. Just take care of yourself. Just give yourself exquisite love. And that way your cup is full and full to share with others. We need each other more than ever. And so I want to send my love and my blessing at this Aries ingress. May you go forward knowing the perfection you are. All right. Ciao.